Okay, well this has made me quite sad. I'd already recorded a video for this, but it stuffed up, it was too long, and now I need to do it again. So, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it faster. I don't know about better, but faster. Alright, so this is the first video in a series of videos looking at each of the articles in your booklet. I want to start with the idea that what we're looking for is the audience, right? I want you to start with that. People jump straight to looking through for techniques here and there and whatever else, and coming up with a red pen just like I have, and they forget why they're doing it in the first place. We're after the impact upon the audience, and if we don't know who the audience is, that's very difficult. I want you to pause this video right now and then come back to me and see if you can tell me A, who's the audience, and B, where the arguments are, right? Okay, pause. Okay, I now assume you're back. What I've decided is the audience, a younger audience, they're digital natives, social media users, and they're geeks. Let's see if we can justify that as we go through it. What I want you to do as you go through and find the techniques, I want you to underline them. I want you to put a circle and a 1, okay, and then a circle and a 2, and then a 3 and a 4. So luckily with this one, it actually gives you the 3 arguments right here. Alright, creates divisions, exploits insecurities, and risks our health. Alright, so let's have a look. Let's see if we can find them. You know, it starts off a bit more with a personal perspective. This is argument 1, isn't it? Okay. I used to believe this, blah, 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 right? And then it turns into creates divisions, and number 2. Then it has issues about health, and then it talks about insecurities, right? Abuse, and then again it goes back to health. So there's quite a few arguments in this, and there's maybe theoretically even up to about 5, but I think that it's important to think about how you're going to structure it, because I want you to be structuring your essay according to arguments. Each argument is going to be a paragraph. I don't want, you know, paragraphs for techniques, right? We're past that now. Each paragraph is going to be an argument. So let's have a look at the first one. Alright, this is a personal narrative. I used to think social media was essentially a force for good. Actually, that's how this starts. Now the evidence says I was wrong. Okay, well, this is he's trying to create here for you an entrance into people who agree that social media is a force of good. Right? I used to think social media was a force for good. Yes, I think that too. Absolutely. Now, evidence says that I was wrong. Really? Okay, so this is an appeal to an authority, isn't it? It's an authority saying that, you know, well, you know, evidence in this case is saying, well, if someone believes that I was wrong, who is it? It's evidence. Oh, well, I like evidence, so it must be wrong. Okay? That's the intent of that sentence. The picture is not relevant to the first argument, right? So we're not going to talk about it. Also, additionally, while we're here, we're not going to talk about the picture in its own paragraph. We're going to include it as evidence for one of the arguments. So here we go. Continuing with this personal perspective, he has 2 examples here of uses of social media. First of all, initiating the Arab Spring and watching Ninja Cat videos. This is an interesting juxtaposition. He's saying there are 2 uses. One is of great social value that I, as my armchair activist, want to you know, think is a good thing. I love social media because it helps people rebel against oppression. I love that. You know, I never actually do that myself, but I love it theoretically, right? The second one, you know, I do all the time. I watch cat videos and laugh at you know, cats pushing things off shelves. That's why we have the internet, right? So we need to think. So he's doing this to really kind of position the social media is a great thing. Why is he doing that if his contention is that it's not a good thing? Well, he's trying to suck people in, right? It's trying to make it relatable. He's trying to make it so that these people who disagree with him all of a sudden start agreeing with him, because the more that someone agrees with you, if you can get someone to agree with you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, they get in the habit of agreeing with you, and then eventually might agree with your next comment. What else is good about social media? Well, I've made friends online. Meeting people in person is socially exhausting, and social media is a much better solution. And now he's starting to ease in down here this idea that it's a bit more complicated than that, right? He's in some of these counter arguments, right? But not very strong ones. It's ones that he's going to disagree with, right? But he's introducing the idea that there are some counter arguments. This has all been positive so far. Now he's going, well, yes, some people say that staring at my Twitter feed isn't healthy, and yes, some people say that there's dangers of excessive internet, and yes, reactionary takes or whatever else, right? Yes, so there are some counter arguments, but he doesn't want to lose his audience so soon. He doesn't want them going, well, that's not a good argument. So he destroys these arguments that are actually arguing for his own position, right? He agrees that it's bad. He agrees that it's unhealthy. But then he goes on and he says, oh, but I consider these to be, or I dismiss these as reactionary and traditional, equivalent to saying that Bob Dylan was evil, or that Technicolor movies were evil, right? These are, silly arguments, right? So he's, easing the audience in, right? This is an audience that massively disagrees with him. So he starts off with a position that they'll accept, starts to slowly introduce the counterpoint. So that continues all the way through here. He uses a ridiculous example of how Facebook could raise your risk of cancer. So again, he has them back. He's managed to introduce these counterpoints, but he's gotten away with it because he's managed to calm them down again by talking about how ridiculous the arguments again. And then he says, oh, then I tried to write a book. Then I did research. Okay, deeper into the research I went. And we all trust and respect research, don't we? Yeah? This is a form of evidence, right? The harder it was to sustain. Scientists, psychologists, tech insiders, internet users, these are all experts. What are these experts saying? Right? It's not just crazies saying it. They're actual experts saying that it's damaging to your health. Right? Then he has to follow that up. Right? This is the first time he's confronting his audience with something that's not really their opinion. He starts off with their God, right? Internet activist, right? Google employee, initiator of the Arab Spring, right? Poster boy for internet-inspired revolution. He is them. He is who they would want to be. These younger, digital native, social media using geeks, right? And he has come around and said that it turned into echo chambers, hate speech, and tore us apart, right? And it polarized us into angry, opposing camps. This is the antithesis of everything they were looking for, right? So he's now managed to say, the person that you love, the personification of an internet activist is now disliking social media. So maybe you should too, right? And look at the emotive language he's using in here, right? Tore us apart, hate speech, angry opposing camps, polarizing. This is emotive language designed to talk about the damage, tearing, hate, negative, polarizing, opposing camps. When you think of camps, you think of army camps, right? You think of horrible things, right? This is not what people want from their social media. It isn't just politics, it's health too. Royal Society of Public Health is the respected organisation, huge statistics. It's starting to come in with more and more authority, isn't he? He's given a person's opinion, he's backing it up with evidence. He continues on slowly introducing this idea with some more and more evidence. 2/5 of boys have been victims of online bullying. Wow, now all of a sudden his audience is thinking, well, yeah, you know, online bullying, I heard about that in high school, or I've been bullied, you know, geeks that have been bullied, let's not, you know, kid ourselves. You know, that Instagram and Snapchat inspires feelings of inadequacy, anxiety and self-loathing. Well, if that's not a description of the teenage condition, I don't know what is, right? This is exactly, you know, what teenagers have to deal with, and to place these bad feelings upon Instagram and Snapchat is an attempt to drive this gap in between people who, you know, at the end of the day, you know, love social media, right? It says to them, hey, you love social media, but you hate feeling inadequate, anxious, and self-loathing. Well, that's what's causing it, right? So now he has them a bit more on the side, doesn't he? Right? He's introduced this Google employee. He's given some statistics. He's created a connection between social media and insecurities. He then follows it up with Kurt Vonnegut. Right? We are talking about geeky people here. Science fiction geeks know Kurt Vonnegut, right? They know him to be a great author, and even if you don't know him, you might kind of connect to what he's saying. We are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful who we pretend to be. Right? This is a connection to young people, because, you know, young people, teenagers, they're all trying to formulate their identity, and they do it from their parents or people that they respect. You know, it's difficult because we do feel like we're just pretending to be somebody. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to move a bit faster. We, inclusive language, okay? You can continue on and move your way through it, but this is how it should be done, okay? Go through and find, you know, what's the flow of it, right? How's the tone changing? Think about that. How did the tone change from when he's suddenly saying, oh yeah, social media is great, I used to think social media was great, to, well, actually it's, you know, it causes anxiety and whatever else. Think about that. That's what you need to spend your time on. Go back to the picture. Include that new evidence. That's the second point, isn't it? About anxiety, self-loathing, and inadequacy. How does this picture help us think about that? All right, the person represents all of those things. Right? So he's giving a pictorial representation of what he says in words over here, isn't he? Right? Look at the picture. We have likes and hearts, right? And look at this picture. I mean, it's the personification of male beauty, isn't it? It's like it's the literal Adonis. Yeah, it's a Greek statue in his positioning, right? And of course we can't live up to that, and that will of course lead to inadequacy, anxiety and self-loathing. Of course we agree with him, absolutely, blah 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 blah, on and on we go. Okay, look through the rest of the article, find the other arguments and more techniques other than the ones that I've mentioned, and post them below. Thanks.